Yo, how you guys doing? It's your boy Beastly, back at it again. This is gonna be my Battlefield 6 beta review. This is gonna be a crazy video. I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this video from, a lot of people. So, if you can, let me know what you think of the beta down below. Let me know issues you've experienced and how you feel about it, where it can improve, yada, 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 stuff of that nature. So, I'm gonna be as fair for this game as possible. For context, I am not just a Call of Duty content creator, as you would see if you check out my channel. I do play a lot of other FPS games and or a lot of games in general. So don't be like, oh, you're a Call of Duty kid, yada, yada, yada. Also, for the gameplay that will be in the background, I recorded this, I think, like the first day or like the second day of the beta. So if you're wondering why I'm a Pepega and I just whip my shots and overall I'm just not doing very well, that's why. But either way, that's just background footage for you guys. You guys don't really need that. On to the review of the beta. So how do I feel? So as someone who's played the early access, the weekend 1 and weekend 2, I can tell you I have a lot of mixed feelings about this game. I have no ties to Battlefield. My previous Battlefield title was all the way back to Battlefield 3, I do believe. Me and Chat was trying to figure out last Battlefield game I played. It was 3 or 4. It was a long time ago, back on the 360. So I have essentially no experience with Battlefield. So I know a lot of people were trying to like, well, it's better than 2042, or it's better than Battlefield 1, or it's better than Battlefield 5. I didn't play any of those games. So I can't really compare something that I didn't play, So I can't do that. But for me, this is going to be direct comparison to Black Ops 7, Black Ops 6 currently, and all sorts of other games. So let's start with the things I did like about the beta, and that is the graphics. I think this game looks stunning. I think the lights, all of that stuff, it looks great. Visually, the game looks great, which I think is really good. And that's a very good thing to have, is a good-looking game. Obviously, I don't think graphics are a criteria, but it's always nice to have a good-looking game, right? You don't want to look at some pudgy silver and gray nonsense or a bunch of brown, right? You want to have actual color, and there is color. The next thing I'm also going to give this game praise for is the audio quality, right? The explosions, the sound of the tanks, the jets, your gun, all of that is very, 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 very well done. It's very good. I really do like the sounds of the game. It really does feel like you're in a battlefield, right? When someone takes an RPG and blows up your wall and your cover, it sounds great. Also, the sound's going to be in the bad category as well. We'll get to that later in the video, why it's also a bad, but for the most part, the sound's really good. The sound is really good. The next thing I really do like about the game is the gun feel. Not the gunplay, how the guns feel, right? When you shoot weapons in this game, it feels like you're shooting a weapon, right? It doesn't sound like you're shooting a BB gun. You're shooting a weapon, right? I like that. I like that you actually feel like you're using real-life weapons, right? Very good. Unfortunately, that is the end of my good list. I kid you not, I wrote 3 things on my list for the good and the bad. I wrote 3 things on the good. I would like to say I'm being hyperbolic, but as someone who's played, again, all 3 weekends, the early access, the beta 1 and beta 2, the game honestly got worse the longer I played it. Like, I'm not even joking. I think the first day I played the beta, I was going to give the game like an 8 or a 7 out of 10. And the more and more I played the betas, the longer and longer I got exposed to stuff, I genuinely just the worst it got. Right, once when the brand new game and the honeymoon phase went away, it was like, wow, there are so many problems. And I'm just gonna go into a few of them, just so we can clear. The hit registration in this game is awful. The amount of times on my several streams of several days of playing this game, I would like go back and rewatch a kill cam on my stream where I'm shooting a guy. I think the worst one I had for hit reg wise was one time I shot a guy 15 times. I don't mean the hyperbolic of like, oh, well, there's bloom and bullet drop in the game, so you aiming at a guy doesn't mean the bullet's gonna go there. No, I mean legitimately, we watched it in slow-mo. My bullets were going through his body, they just weren't doing damage. Like, that was the one that like broke me. I shot the guy 15 times, the bullets went through his torso, and I think like 1 or 2 of them counted. It was awful. The hit reg has been awful all weekend. Now, we're going to talk about a lot of issues with this game, and there's kind of like one big issue, and I don't know if this one big issue is the reason why there's all these other little issues. I can't really differentiate which issue is causing which, but the fact there's this many issues is also a problem. Second thing I have on my list of issues with the game is both the bloom bug and actual bloom itself. Now, in before I have the army of just Battlefield diehards telling me, oh my god, skill issue, oh my god, streamer, actually, no. This is not just objectively me talking about the bloom mechanic. I am quite literally talking about the bloom bug. I'm gonna play this clip of Shroud explaining it. This one bug alone made me want to just uninstall the game like day after day, stream after stream. This bug was one of the worst bugs in the game. It absolutely ruined the enjoyment of the beta for me.
Watch out blooms, watch out blooms, watch out blooms. See how it's going everywhere? It's just blooming everywhere like crazy. It's not shooting straight. See that shit? Look at how it's blooming. Look at how it's blooming everywhere, right? And instantly, I'm assuming I'm gonna unmute myself here, and I'm assuming I'm gonna say, oh, I'm bugged, I need to slide twice. What the fuck is this bloom, dude?
Go on.
I'm right where we want him.
Spread.
Dude, my gun's bugged. You have to slide twice to fix it. Hold on. 1 and 2.
Don't die now.
Okay, now that I slid twice, now watch my gun. Now watch my gun. Watch. Now watch my gun. I promise you this is a bug. Look at my gun now. See that? See how it's shooting straight? See that? See that? Not a single gun, not a single set of deviation. Nothing. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that.
So yeah, that I'm talking for all the nerd actually streamer or actually content creator about like bloom. No, it's a bug, right? It's a bug. I understand it's a bug. The fact that in an FPS game, your gun at random ranges and random intervals will just start randomly blooming to the left or blooming to the right is unacceptable. You're playing an FPS game. The whole point of the game is to shoot people. If you can't consistently shoot people, that's gonna ruin the experience, like it did for me. Yeah, the bloom bug was awful. It genuinely was one of the things that made me just not want to play the beta. It was so bad dealing with it game to game. It genuinely drove me insane. Like it was bad. Now we're going to talk about the actual bloom mechanic itself. I personally don't think bloom should exist. I understand it's been in every Battlefield game. I understand, you know, realism, ooga booga, yada, yada, yada. It's a milsim. I don't care. I think it's really simple. I think if I'm aiming at you, I should be shooting you. I think if I'm aiming at you out of my range, I should have to lead my shots because of bullet drop and bullet velocity. However, I do not think my gun should just randomly start producing bullets that go to the left or bullets that go to the right. I don't care, right? You can go argue with a wall. It's an outdated mechanic that should not be there. I understand people are gonna be like, well, it's in Fortnite. Well, Fortnite's a third-person game. They added a first-person feature to Fortnite to fix the bloom, to fix the RNG, right? Then you have Halo, who also has bloom, but kind of. Certain weapons do have bloom and some weapons don't. So like, I just don't like it, right? I don't like the bug making every gunfight feel random, and I don't particularly like the feature itself. I think if I'm aiming at a target in my range, he or she should be shot. Point blank, period. Go argue with a wall. If I'm aiming at you and you're in my line of sight and you are in my range, you should be getting shot. Now, obviously, if I'm trying to cross-map somebody with an assault rifle, right, my damage should be really bad, but I still should be shooting them. That is the point of an FPS game, is to shoot people. Yeah, both the bloom mechanic I don't like, and I'm not a fan of it, and both the bug that just randomly makes your gun go crazy, I don't like that either. So those, like, starting out the gate with the bad hit registration and the bloom problems for an FPS game is basically just suicide, right? That is just, it's cooked. It's cooked. It's really bad. Third problem I have, the servers. Again, this could just be one problem that ruined it for everything, or it could be everything, you know, compacting together. I could not find a game that wasn't laggy to high hell. There were several times on my streams I would do an internet test, And all of the times I played Battlefield, it just felt like a laggy. Now, it's a beta, right? This could also be fixed when the full servers come out. But for the beta, it was awful. I would have 0 packet loss and like 40 ping on my Microsoft, speed test on my Xbox. But then in-game, I would have like 112 ping. Like, it was just, the servers were bad. And the servers being bad, with the hit registration being bad, and the bloom just being bugged and bad, it led to just the experience. The atmosphere of Battlefield was great. Playing the game became not great very quickly, which is very sad. And again, I'm not going to sugarcoat this beta, right, at all, right? I'm going to call a spade a spade. If it's a problem, I'm going to call it out, and I'm not alone. I had a lot of people come into my chat at various points in various streams, essentially have similar views to mine. So there you go. I'm not alone dealing with these problems. Next, this was really bad in the early access, and luckily it got mostly fixed during, period 1, but it got 100% fixed by period 2, but I'm still going to talk about it. That is matchmaking / the game crashing and the time it takes for queues. So in early access, my game was crashing damn near after every match. My game was crashing so much. It was bad. It was crashing when I was playing by myself. It was crashing when I was playing with people. It was crashing literally after each match. The crashing was really bad. I play on a console, by the way. I play on an Xbox One, so it's not even like I have a bad PC or outdated PC. I'm playing on a console, right? And I could not play the game. Then, right, I tried to turn off crossplay, and I swear to God, you can go watch the stream. I sat there for 15 minutes trying to find a match with crossplay turned off, and I could not find a game. Which is like, wow. Like, why even give me the option to turn crossplay off if I can't find a match? Like, what is going on? And so, yeah, just the matchmaking in general. Now, in terms of the skill-based matchmaking like I'm used to in Call of Duty and other FPS games, this game did not really feel like it had any skill-based matchmaking, which I'm actually happy for, right? That's a positive, which I guess I should have put that in the positive category, but I forgot. Anyways, right, no SBMM, great. Love to see it. I wish, honestly, if Black Ops 6 had the matchmaking of Battlefield 6, it'd be a 10 times better game, like straight up. So there's a fourth thing that actually goes into the positives. Yeah, overall, getting into games was a hassle. Now, it did get fixed, right? The early access, it was terrible. And then the second period, it was better, but still bad. But then by the third, this final weekend, I had no issues getting into a match, turning crossplay on or off. So it did get fixed, right? It did resolve itself, but it was a train wreck in the beginning. Speaking of being a train wreck, dude, trying to play with people in this beta was borderline impossible, right? I couldn't play with other streamers. Shout out Limbo, right? I couldn't play with him. We were having issues of like I loading into a game and he wasn't, or he was loading into a game and I wasn't, or like he would back out and it wouldn't bring me out. It was just so many, there were so many problems. Like I tried to play with my chat. I was trying to play with members of my community and it just didn't work. And that's not a problem that just stuck around that was in the early access. It literally, in the day I'm recording this video, shout out my boy Pine. My boy Pine hopped on to play a couple games. The first game we played, we black screened, both of us. And it wasn't like we black screened and like the game froze. We were in the game, we heard the audio of like explosions and shit, but our screen was just black. And the only way we could fix that was to quit the match. That was the first game on my final stream of playing this game with a viewer. This shit bricked. Like, Jesus, EA. Like, come on. This was a problem from start, middle, and end, which is very concerning that this might actually end up being in the full game. Next thing, and again, this could be a problem with the servers, it could be a problem with Bloom, it could be a problem with HitReg. I don't really know where the problem lies, but another glaring problem me and many others felt was the damage. Right? There are some weapons in this beta that just would melt you in like a couple frames. Then there's other weapons where you could just mag dump somebody and they still walk it off, like if you're shooting them with marshmallows. Like the damage, and again, this is a beta, and a lot of this stuff can be fixed. But the point of this video is to review the beta, not, oh my god, this was just stuff that I experienced. And the crazy gun damages was one of them, right? The amount of times I would get cross-mapped by an SMG, and then I myself using an AR or a, rifle of some kind or an LMG, and I would lose the gunfight to an SMG was insane. Like, I shouldn't be doing that. Well, then just to find out that guy's on PC, and we'll get at that later, but it's like, oh, of course. Of course. Next thing we have on the list is the map design and or flow. So I think some of the maps in this beta played phenomenal. I think some of the game modes in this beta played phenomenal. I think some of the maps, like the one you're looking at here, this map is awful. This map fucking sucks. This map is horrible in domination. It sucked in, was it Rushed or Breakthrough or whatever we played? This map just sucked. Now, mind you, there are gonna be more maps in the full game, but the ones I got to play, some were great, some were terrible, which is just not a good even ratio. You kind of, I know this is a beta, but you kind of want to have players play the good maps in the beta to like build their, you know, confidence, not give us shit maps in the beta to then lower our confidence, you know. But hey, well, maybe I'm just a bad player who just doesn't understand how the, you know, maps to work. Anywho, yeah, the map design and the game mode flow was really bad. Next is spawnings. Jesus Christ, on all the game modes in which you couldn't control where you spawned, which I'm mostly talking about domination here, on the game modes where you didn't have direct impact on where you spawned, Jesus Christ, the spawning was atrocious. And even to an extent, the game modes where you could select where you spawned, I was still spawning into people shooting me. Like straight up, like OG Call of Duty, just spawn in and then dead. Right? Spawn die Battlefield was pretty bad in stretches of my stream. It was really just, the spawning needs to get tuned a lot. Otherwise, if it doesn't get touched, domination is going to be a horrible mode strictly because the spawning is so goddamn bad. Next thing I really didn't understand, and as a not Battlefield guy, people tried to explain this to me, and I never really understood it. So the new, like, I say new, but for me, it's like a new thing. But like the perk class or like the specialist or like, you know, where you pick a role of like assault, engineer, recon, yada, yada, yada. And like, to me, all of that shit felt pointless, right? Like the big ability you get when you get like tier 3 out of 3, which I'm going to call like an ultimate, like an Overwatch, that ability felt meaningless. And not just did it feel meaningless, but most of the tiers below it also felt meaningless. Like, I feel like, and like, I don't want Battlefield to have kill streaks like what Call of Duty has, right? I think having Battlefield have features COD doesn't have and vice versa is like healthy for the game. But it really did kind of feel like there was nothing to play for, right? Like once when you had that good game or your weapon was done, basically once when you've experienced everything, there was nothing to play for. And I hope they fix that going when the full game releases. Like I hope there's camos to grind. Right, I understand Battlefield's a realistic game, and I've not played a Battlefield title in many years, but I hope there's some camos you can grind, even if they're primitive camos, like basic silver or gold, just, you know, something. I hope there's like, you know, challenges, and I hope the replayability's there when the game launches, because there certainly wasn't any of that in the beta. And the whole, like, use your class and have special perks, whether you're the assault or the only one that genuinely felt like it had an impact was support and just running around defibbing people. Every other one kind of just felt useless. So I hope they add more. I know I got a lot of flack in my stream when I said this, but I'm going to say it in my video, but like, I don't care. I think the fact that there's only 4 of them is fine for a beta, but if they release the game and there's only 4 of them in the game, that's insane. And if they don't ever release new ones over the game's life cycle, that's also a waste of time and resources. Like, or excuse me, it would have been a waste if they just didn't do anything with it. Like, there's no reason why they're only stuck at 4. Great example of Bloom, by the way. But yeah, expand that shit past 4, please, for the love of God. Going back to another problem I had was the tick rate. Again, this could be bad hit detection, this could be bad servers, this could be bad Bloom, but the tick rates didn't really feel very smooth. So that I just jotted that down. So yeah, it could be other problems. I could be wrong. And I'm gonna, this next point is not really a Battlefield problem. This is more of a community problem. But so this is gonna be in the bad section. And I probably shouldn't have put it here. I should have probably saved this towards the end, but I'm going to go ahead and throw it in here. It's my video, yada, yada, yada. But the amount of people who was praising this game's UI is kind of, in my opinion, really fascinating, especially as someone who's played a lot of CODs. This game has the same UI as Modern Warfare 2 Remastered did from a couple of years ago. Right? They gave that game so much shit for its like lazy / like Hulu or Netflix UI, and they were right. It was a bunch of boxes and it's square. But what I find interesting is Battlefield has the exact same problem, and literally people were praising this game's UI and praising how this game looked. And it's the same thing. It's just a bunch of boxes. You click on a box, the gun, to open more boxes, right? The same backdrop, the same everything of Modern Warfare 2. Like, this is almost like copy and paste the same thing. Like, literally identical. It's just a bunch of square boxes. And then here, for the, weapon, the gunsmith, you want to call it, it's the exact same as the Modern Warfare 2's was, right? Here's the attachments. They have different points, yada, yada, yada. Here's what they do. So I just find, again, it's not really a bad thing. It's just, I find it so funny that, like, specifically Call of Duty players got their panties in a wad for how bad the UI was in Modern Warfare 2 Reimagined 2022. And it's the exact same UI for this game. And yet nobody's talking about it. Nobody's complaining. The whole sentiment's almost like around Battlefield 6, ironically enough, is this game is perfect. And if you don't like this game, you suck, skill issue. And I don't like that. I don't like that people can objectively hate on something, but then give that exact same thing praise because it, like, changed color, right? Like, if you hated it in Modern Warfare 2 Reimagined, you should hate it here too, right? It's the same UI. But, like, I personally didn't think it was that big of a deal in the game, right? I don't think the UI was really bad. But I also didn't think the UI was bad in Modern Warfare 2 Reimagined either, right? It's the exact same. That's what I don't get, is why that was so bad, but this one is fine. And it's not even just the create a class, and it's not even just the create a class and, like, the weaponsmith, right? The other issue is, even when it comes down to, like, your game modes and whatnot, right? Like, more square. Like, it's so many squares. So, like, I really just don't get how this game, like, square, like, it's the same fucking UI. Like, the same challenges right here. Like, it's the same UI. Like, I just don't get how the UI is good in the beta, or it's gonna, by the way, the UI is not going to change very much from the beta to the launch, so expect this to be what the actual game looks like. I just kind of find it hypocritical that a lot of people, especially the Call of Duty content creators, like this UI when it's the exact same quote-unquote shit UI from Modern Warfare 2 Reimagined. I just don't get it. I don't know why it's in the bad section. That should be in, like, its own section. But yeah, that's next thing I had issues with. It's just the game felt really clunky. The movement really didn't feel very smooth. Mantling sometimes took way too long. And again, that could be server problems. That could be so many other problems. But just in general, the movement felt clunky. Everything felt really clunky. The gunplay at times felt clunky. The movement felt clunky. The map felt clunky. It just, again, it's a beta, and these things could definitely be ironed out upon the full release, but I'm not reviewing the full game. I am reviewing the beta. And so, yeah, it just felt really clunky to me. The next big problem I had in this game is, as much as I love the graphics, and graphically this game does look gorgeous, there is so much goddamn visual clutter playing this game. It's insane. Like, the amount of times in the 3 or so days I played the game, from the early access to the second week, or to the first weekend to the second weekend, I just couldn't see what the fuck I was shooting. I was shooting random red diamonds that were in my, LOS. It's insane, right? I'm not talking about, like, oh, well, you can't see because the visual clutter because you're walking through a smoke grenade, like right now. No, I'm not talking about this visual clutter. I'm talking, like, when a tank fires a shot in front of you and there's smoke coming from that. Or when your screen's shaking, like, there's just, when people are shooting, when you're shooting, when grenades, explosives, when everything's going off, tanks, like, when everything's going down, there's so much visual clutter in some of these maps. They look really pretty. Cool bug right there, by the way. They look really pretty, but the visual clutter is insane. And when you have a game that doesn't feel like, it's not very smooth, it's very clunky, the gunfights feel clunky, not being able to see 10 feet in front of you to see who you're shooting is also a really big negative. Like, I was, at some points, not even really feel like I was shooting players. I was just shooting red diamonds over their head, because, like, I could not see in front of me. It was that bad. Yeah, that was a big problem. Next, another thing I gave it praise for, and I do think, for the most part, the audio is really good, and it deserves praise, but the footstep audio in this game is trash. Like, the amount of times I would have people walk directly next to me and kill me with a shotgun or kill me with a weapon, and I watch the, like, after kill report, and it shows the guy in red being right next to me, and I'm like, wait, How did he get there? Like, you have an easier time in this game hearing RPGs, tanks, and weapon fire from across the map, but you can't hear a soldier sprinting 3 feet to your left. Like, the audio in general was really good, but the footstep audio was non-existent. Like, a lot of people in this beta was complaining about the shotgun, and ironically, I'm not going to be complaining about the shotgun. I really didn't think the shotgun was that OP. I just think the fact that you can't hear people's footsteps makes it OP, because you can run up to somebody and they can't hear you, and then they could just get blasted away. So everything that's audio dependent that's not the footstep audio is great, but the footstep audio was terrible. Another thing I just don't really like is the create a class system, where like you get 100 attachment points and you can't go over, and attachments are weighed in different amounts of points. I really just don't like that, right? Some of the good attachments were worth too many points. Some of the like attachments that I don't even think were that good, like the extra big magazines, were weighted way too heavy. It didn't really feel nice. I would much rather be able to put a bunch of attachments on my weapon, or be restricted to like 1 or 2. This like weird hybrid system where you gotta like fit your points, I didn't like it at all. And like, I wish there was like the assault guy or the assault character would like allow you to have extra attachments. That would be cool, where you get like 112 or like 115 points, something a little extra. Just, yeah. Another issue I had with the attachments in this beta is the green bars symbolize like what the gun was getting better at, but if you read the description on the attachments, it didn't always sync up to what was happening on the gun stats. So I just fix that, EA, please. And overall, there's probably more problems that like I just forgot to like jot down, but that's kind of my overall review of the beta. I think this game has an immense chance of being a great game, right? Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying that Battlefield 6 is going to be DOA, all right? I'm not saying that. I get why there's hype for this game. I do. It's a good game when the game is running properly. The problem is, as of the early weekend, the first weekend, and the last weekend of the beta, it didn't run properly 90% of the time. But when it ran properly, great game. The rest of the time, not a good game. And so yeah, I think this game has immense potential. And overall, my rating for this game, for the beta, I'm gonna give it a 3. Right? I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 10. And I think if literally like half the bugs and like half of the issues with the game gets fixed, this could easily be like an 8 or a 9 out of 10 game. But unfortunately, I can't just gloss over the fact that I'm playing an FPS game with problems with shooting people and or getting shot, right? You wouldn't play a racing game with issues with driving and be like, it's a great game. Like, you wouldn't do that. So like, it's an FPS game. Got all the challenges done. That was fun. I hope for an in-depth, but like, my wish list for the actual game is gonna be different. This is just a beta review. Let me know all you guys disagree with me in the comments. I know I'm gonna get a lot of shit for this video. Again, I'm going to be actually like nerd emoji, all sorts of stuff in the comments of this beta review. I already see it coming. But as someone who's never played or hasn't played a Battlefield game since I was like 12 years old, I do understand why people like this game. And I do understand that like this game is probably the best we've had. But the best the Battlefield's community's had in a while. But I just think that as someone who's lived his entire life with dealing with EA Sports shenanigans, whether it's buying the Madden games or the college football games or Battlefront 1 and Battlefront 2, and the point I'm getting at is they can always fuck something up, right? You are lying to yourself if you think this game is perfect, and it can't get worse. This is an EA Sports title. Trust me, it can get a lot worse, especially on day one. It can hit the fan real quick with EA games. Trust me. So if half of these things get fixed, it's an easy 6/7 out of 10 game. If everything that's broken, buggy, and just not working properly gets fixed, damn near perfect game, right? It does things well that COD can't do, and there's a reason to buy the game. My only fear, and again, this probably shouldn't be in the beta review, but it's my video, I'll yap how I want. There's going to be a Battle Royale mode when this game drops, and I'm kind of scared that this game's going to get 2019. And what I mean by that, in Call of Duty 2019, they dropped a BR and like they ruined the multiplayer side of the game, only focusing on the BR. And I'm really hoping EA doesn't do that and just fully sending the BR. Like, obviously focus on it, but don't forget the rest of the game too. But yeah, let me know how dumb I am of a streamer / content creator. Let me know everything I got wrong. Let me know what you guys liked and disliked about the beta. And yeah, as always, I hope you have a wonderful morning, evening, night, afternoon, or day, depending on whatever time you watch my content in the future. Like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. Or maybe a follower / sub on Twitch. I would greatly appreciate it. If you can become a member, please. It helps me out a ton, and you get cool perks on the Discord or in the Discord and custom videos on the channel. I love y'all. I'll see you when I see you. Deuces.